All right, so today's just kind of a review day for the next little while until the end of the year. But I think that it would be handy to go over our Beged Kefits really quick. So now I've got to find those because I had them. But does anyone remember, can anyone recite the Beged Kefit letters? So there's 6 of them while I'm looking for the actual slide.
It starts with bed.
Mhm.
And then Gimel.
Yeah, Bet Gimel.
And then the Fe.
And Dollop is next after the
Fe.
Gimel, and then the Kasam. What's it called? John Black.
Fe.
I gotta do the alphabet.
That's good. That's why we
Bet.
remember the
Bet.
alphabet, right?
Aleph, Bet, Bet, Dalet, Gimel, oh my gosh, I can't even do it.
Gimel. And, Fe, and then Tav or something.
Yep. All right, so just as a review, since I finally found my slide, sorry to put everyone on that spot there, but so there's 2 kinds of Dagesh, and a Dagesh is something that has the middle dot. So we learned about this back in weeks 2 and 3 of our alphabet. So there's a Dagesh Kal, which is our Beged Kefet letters here on the left, and there's the Dagesh Chazak, which is all of the other letters that can have a middle dot. So that middle dot, we often kind of refer to it as a beauty mark or something like that, but the middle dot is a Dagesh, and it falls into 2 different categories. A Dagesh Kal will actually change the sound of its consonant, whereas the Dagesh Chazak doubles the consonant's value. So, for example, here we have a Samech. So the Samech actually produces a double S sound if it has that middle dot, or like the Mem up here. If the Mem has a middle dot, a Dagesh Chazak, it will be a double M sound. Whereas the Dagesh Kal are referred to as the Beged Kefits because it's that acronym. The B, G, D, K, F, T. Beged Kefita, Beged Kefit. We'll take another slide here. So here is the acronym. So Bet Gimel Dalet Kaf Tav. Bet Gimel Dalet Kaf Tav. The reason that this is a good acronym is because Beged is a Hebrew word and Kefet is a Hebrew word, and it's why it's kind of one of the perfect acronyms in Hebrew here. So Beged Kefets are super crucial when we are using the word and in Hebrew, because if the word and is joined with a word that starts with one of these 6 letters, the and will actually steal its dot and change its sound. And so that's why we're kind of reviewing those. So Bet Gimel Dalet Kaf Fe Tav. These are the ones that we're going to want to remember as we are taking a look at any of these conjunctions. So let's take a look at the grammar lesson just as a really quick review so that we can kind of get a grasp on some of these Beged Kefits. Okay, so the grammar for week 3 here lists these 3 different grammar rules when we're using the conjunction of Vav. Vav acts like an and in English. And here is the default format for an and. It's a Vav with a Shava underneath of it. So it's pronounced the. But when in these different combinations, it can act a little bit differently. So in the case that the vav joins with any consonant that has a patah shava underneath of it, the vav is going to lose its shava because these two shavas don't mix well with each other, and that shava is going to turn into a patah. So instead of the, it's going to be va. Vachamor. Here on this second example, we've got our standard the conjunction. And anytime that the next consonant that it joins with is just a shava, it's actually going to change into an oo. Instead of a the, it changes into an oo.
Yeah.
Likewise,
Kevin, I only see Aleph with bet and then grammar lessons for Aleph with bet. And
Yeah, the things that you're pointing out don't seem to make sense. There you go.
oh, there. Okay.
There you
Sorry
go.
about that.
Okay, now,
It looked right
I
on
don't
my
see-
screen.
I thought I was in the twilight zone for a minute. Not understanding.
Thank you.
Okay, now it makes sense.
Yep. Okay.
As you
so
were
our-
moving the cursor up and down, and I thought, I don't see anything in that direction. Okay.
Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh well. So starting over, we've got these different examples, right? Here's these three different equations. So we've got a vav with the shava underneath of it. And when it combines with any consonant with a patah shava, the vav loses its two dots, its shava, and turns into a patah. So this the turns into a va. So hamor is one of those words. So when we say a conjunction with hamor and donkey, it would be va hamor instead of the hamor. So here in this second example, we have just the regular and conjunction, and when it's conjoined with a word that starts with a shava, then the vav will actually change its sound to an oo. Instead of the, it'll be oo. Likewise, down here, when we've got a beged kefetz, a word that starts with any of the 6 beged kefet letters, the vav drops its shava and it stills the dagesh. So instead of the p, it would be oo. So instead of the plosive pe, it turns into a fricative fe. So as in par, we would say ufar, instead of the par. The par would be wrong. All right, does that kind of make sense? Now that we're seeing the right equations. Okay, so here's the quiz time. Feel free to play along or practice or whatever. But say we have, gotta get my animals out here. Okay, so this one, what is this one called?
More.
Hamor and
Isha.
yeah, we'll put this one as an adult. Isha.
Isha.
So how do we say that? Hamor
U,
Va.
Hamor,
Va Isha.
Hamor va'isha.
Yeah.
So just to make sure that we're pronouncing the conjunction correctly, the vav, the conjunction of and is the. There's no vowel associated with it. It's just a the. But if the word starts with a patah shava, as in hamor, then it would be ba, ba. You want to make sure to put that the long kind of vowel on there. So let's go reverse. Okay, so tell me when I'm holding these up like this, which one is on your right? Because sometimes Zoom flips my screen around.
The Isha.
Isha is on the right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just backwards from me. So I'm gonna have to remember that. Okay, yeah, I'll just wiggle him so that you know which we got. Okay, so Hamor v'isha. Hamor v'isha. And how do we do it? Just reverse.
Isha.
Isha.
Hamor.
Ba hamor. We want to make sure to put that long on it. Isha
When it,
ba hamor.
okay, say that again because I didn't catch that. So you want the when it's what?
On the hamor.
Hamor.
Just more?
Because
Just on-
hamor starts with a patah shava. So let me bring up the
Okay.
flashcards really quick. And we can actually we probably should have done that before anyway. It's a review week. My brain's scattered. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Quizlet and pop open these flashcards really quick. That way we can actually see them written out and see which ones would be what. Okay. So here is Quizlet. I'm going to go to Beginning Biblical Hebrew, and I'm going to go to Lesson 1 vocab. Actually, let me do Lesson 1 and 2 vocab. Okay, so what is this word? Sound it out and see what we got.
Rot.
Mhm.
Rot.
Na'ara.
Rot.
Na'ara would be a young woman or a girl, right? Na'ara.
Yep.
Oh, and while we're at it, while we've got that, if we were to put a vav in front of this, what would change? Would it be just a regular vav with a shava under it? Would it be a vav with a patah under it? Or would it be a shiruk with the dagesh?
This is Java.
With a shava, because it's not one of the beged kefets. It doesn't
No.
start with a shava, and it doesn't start with a patah shava. So it's just going to be the regular vav with the two vertical dots under it, the shava. So it would be the na'ara. The na'ara. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Here, what is this word?
Hamorim.
Hamorim. Hamorim. So this is going to be one of our three different grammar exceptions, right? And so what does the vav do when it's put in front of this word?
Makes it an U sound.
Not quite.
Oh, then I got messed up again.
You're good. So let me pop open that chart again. So hamorim would be this first example here.
Oh,
And so it drops its shava and actually It's on a patach. So hamorim would be vahamorim. I should really create some better slides so I don't have to keep popping back and forth. Sorry, that that can get kind of crazy as we're switching screens all the time. Vahamorim. Okay, what about this one?
Are you asking what it says, or are you asking what goes in front?
Yeah. What is the word first?
Anashim.
Anashim. Anashim is men, plural. Anashim. So is this one of our exceptions, or is this just a regular vav in front of it?
There's a patach.
So when we put a vav in front of it, the vav is going to have a patah, because this starts with a patah shava. So it would be va anashim. So listen to the difference between the two. I'm going to do it incorrectly and then correctly. So incorrectly, it would be the anashim. But correctly, we're going to draw out that first vowel. Va anashim. The anashim, va anashim. The anashim, va anashim. So we're going to do kind of a double ah sound. Va anashim. All right. Actually, we're just kind of sticking with some of these. Let's do this one. This word is
Ice.
So is it going to be an exception, or is it just going to follow the regular rule?
Follow the regular.
Yep. So how do we put a conjunction in front of it?
Just a vav. This is shiva.
A vav with a shava. And so it's going to sound like v'ez, v'ez, v'ez. You kind of do it pretty quickly. V'ez.
Yeah, otherwise you get caught in a vice. Huh?
Yep. Okay, this one's our tricky one. So this one is pronounced keves. Keves. So is this going to be a regular one, or is this going to be one of the exceptions?
Exception.
Okay, so what does this exception do? If we put an and in front of it, what does it look like and what does it do? So this one starts with a beged kefet letter, right? Let's do our beged kefets. Bet, gimel, dalet, kaf, which this one is, kaf, fe, tav. So kaf is a plosive k sound. Keves, keves. So if we put a vav in front of it, it's going to steal the dagesh and drop its shava. So it's going to be pronounced u cheves, ucheves, ucheves.
It's a tongue twister.
Ucheves. So, for example, can you guys still see my screen as I'm holding up things?
Yes.
Okay, so if we have isha ucheves, what if we do it reverse?
Then
Keves
va
va'isha.
isha.
So it's only when the conjunction is actually attached to the second word that you follow those rules. You don't have to do it reverse. So let me pay attention to how I'm pronouncing these ones. So isha ucheves. keves ve'isha. Isha u keves ve'isha. So the beged kefet's changing and everything is only when that is the second word that you're joining together.
Does it help if we put those things under our pillow and dream about it?
Yep.
I have the hardest time with this.
Yep, it is really
Yeah,
tricky.
me too.
Okay, so here's a double one. So here we've got para. So para.
Ow.
Now, is this a regular vav or is it going to be an exception?
It's an exception.
And so what does the vav do? It steals the dagesh, right? And so it's going to be ufara. Ufara. So let's take a bull and a cow. So par ufara para ufar. Par ufara para ufar. Is that starting to make sense a little bit?
No.
So whichever one is number two, whichever one comes second, it's going to steal the sound, change the sound of it. So
But
mhm.
with these, they're both an exception.
Yes, because they both start with a beged kefet.
Yeah.
So maybe let me type it out and maybe that would be a little bit easier for us to take a look at. So just 1 second. Yeah, this is like one of the more challenging beginner concepts here. So I want to make sure that we get it pretty well. Okay, is that big enough that you can see it on your screen? Am I sharing it correctly?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got par. I've got to remember how to type my letters here. Va. Did I do that right? Got to go back to my things. Oh, they are kamats instead. Just a second. Okay. So this is how we would normally do it. This is if it followed the rules, this is how we would put a conjunction in front. But when it's an exception, we take away the shava underneath of it, and we make it
Ooh.
like this, right? Par
Ooh.
ufara. So par and par are going to be the bull, but when the bull comes second, when it's the one that has the and in front of it, it drops its it changes its sound because the vav steals it. So par ufara para ufar. Does that help a little bit seeing it written out like that? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get the next word here. Yeah, let's do Seuss. Seuss is going to be easy. All right, Seuss. And let's do Hamor. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to copy this a couple times so that we can put them reversed. Okay, so if we're doing Seuss and Hamorim, is it going to be a regular Vav or is it going to be an exception?
Well, we've got the strong ah sound on that because it's the
Mm-hmm.
so it'd be Sus Va Hamarim.
Vahamorim. Mm-hmm. So what if we reverse those? We've got Hamorim, and what kind of conjunction is this going to be?
Just the regular, just a V.
Mm-hmm. Vasus. Hamorim vasus. Sus vahamorim. So va the let's see, the va and u. Those are the three types of and sounds. So they're all going to be a vav, but they're all going to have a different sound based on what letter comes next. So u, va, and v.
Okay, don't move that for a second. I got okay, go ahead.
All right, so let's get another. Trying to come up with different combinations that would be good to practice with. Okay, yeah, let's do Gamalim.
Yeah. Malim.
Meme. I need to go back and learn my keyboard again. I forgot where everything's at. Okay, so we're gonna do Gamalim and Isha. So when Gamalim is first and Isha is second, what kind of conjunction are we going to be using?
Just yeah.
The regular.
Just a-
Mhm. And so when we have Isha first and Gamalim second, why do we, or what do we do in this case?
Okay, so it's a beged kefet. The
you don't do anything.
so you drop the or the big, let's see, the what do you call that? Dimash. The dot.
This
Yeah.
one.
There you go. Good job.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so here's those three. Let me zoom out just so you can see those three. So Gamalim, the Isha, Ugamalim.
Yeah.
Ugamalim. So the difference
really-
between this is that it's a hard G sound, G, G. But here, it takes it and it makes it from a plosive to a fricative. And so it's R. R. Ugamalim. Ugamalim. Isha Ugamalim. That's pretty tricky.
Yes.
So let's just quickly swap back to that original chart here. So we've got these three different grammar exceptions. So if it's just a regular vav, it doesn't need to change anything. But if it's a patah shava, then it turns into a patah. If it's the consonant is just a shava, then it's going to be the u. And if it's a beged kefetz, it also turns into an u and changes the sound of the beged kefetz. So gamalim actually does both of these exceptions, right? Because the gamal, g, has a shava underneath of it, and it is a beged kefetz, and so it's definitely the u and g sound, ugamalim. Does that make sense?
For now.
I love you, Mom.
Kvasim. Okay, so here's our two words. We're going to do kevasim and gamal. So if kevasim is first, what does it sound like? Whoops, sorry. Sometimes I don't know where my stuff goes. Okay, here's our two words. So right here, what kind of conjunction are we going to use?
Just the vav.
So it's going to be like this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a
It's
minute.
good.
No, it's a, let's see, that's a,
Oh, it's a back kefetz.
yeah. So,
Then it becomes an u.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so we're going to change that to an U. And this one, we are going to, it's going to lose its middle dot. It's the gesh. Right?
Yes.
So, kevasim, ugamal, ugamal, and then gamal. And what are we going to do here?
Same thing we did up there.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to make it into an U. And we're going to
You
go
took
like,
the vowel away. Yeah.
did I? Oh, let's see. Yeah, so like up here's our normal one. So it has the shava underneath of it. And then we're just taking the dagesh away.
Yeah.
So gamal uchavasim. Gamal uchavasim. Kevasim ugamal.
Yeah.
Because they both start with a beged kefet.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yeah.
I guess your mom got it.
For the moment. I can lose
Yeah,
things
I
really
know.
quick.
A couple of seconds later, you go, oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, you weren't getting it last night.
Yeah. He gave me a refresher course last night, which really helped. It really did. But, oh. Oh.
Okay, so let's review our story, kind of take a break from beged kefetz and all of that craziness. and go back to a little bit of sight reading. Some familiar territory, hopefully. All right, so Sefer HaMisparim Shel Naftali. So I'll read the first page and then I'll ask for volunteers to read subsequent pages if you'd like to. No pressure. Shalom.
Pressure to do it.
Yep.
Shalom.
Shmi Naftali. Ani Yeled. Yeled Echad. All right. Anybody want to take a crack at sight reading number 2?
No.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Hine Ani let's see. Bahadak. Oh, Bahadak Sheli
Mhm.
Ani Anna. Oh, Anachnu.
Mhm.
Shnaim. Shnaim.
Uh-huh.
2.
Shnaim. Yep. Number 2. Hine ani v'chadag sheli anachnu shnaim.
Oh, Shnaim.
Yep, very good. So we've got
Yeah, that was really good, actually.
echad and shnaim. Echad, shnaim. See,
Okay, your mom's turn.
yep.
No, I
If you
can't
keep writing,
even
then you-
begin to do that. Oh my gosh. This
It
is my
starts with straight line.
What is this word? Sound this one out, mother. So if we go syllable by syllable, what does this one sound like?
it's a hay, right?
Uh-huh.
So
And then that's a hirik underneath of it.
he
He. And then what does this one sound like?
it's a nin, so that's nah. No, what is the double
Uh-huh. It's a tsere, a.
ne?
Mhm. So he,
He
ne.
ne.
Mhm. Hine. And then what does this one sound like?
I don't know.
We're just kind of ignoring the 2 vertical dots. Just pretend like they don't sound anything or change anything. So what does the patah underneath sound like?
Ah,
Ah.
and then ni.
Mhm. Ani. Hine ani. Here I am. Hine ani. Yep, that's really good. Ha dal sheli va imma sheli anachnu shalosha.
Sha.
Anachnu, we are shalosha, 3.
3.
Hine ani chadag sheli ima sheli v'hehatul shel ima sheli anachnu arba'a. Arba'a is 4.
How do you do that so fast? Have you learned to sight read that fast? Or
These words, but I can't sight read that fast like in the Bible or anything. But
see,
this,
I have a really problem with the sight reading for some reason.
Mhm. Yeah, it just takes lots of practice. But like I said, I made this story my bedtime story for quite a few months. and I just read it every single night before bed, practicing each word until I could get a little bit faster, and things start making sense as we're learning some of these grammar rules, like with the and the h sounds. Anyway, I don't, once we get past number 5, number 6 and 7 are kind of tricky. They bring in some new stuff that,
Let's go to 5 right now, not 6 and 7 yet.
yep. Yep, we're just going to 5. But yeah, and then after a while, I've just repeated it so much that now I have it kind of memorized. I can just kind of say it without even really needing to look at the words. I just have memorized the story.
I
But
mean, I was just thinking, how can I do that? If I made flashcards for each one of those words and
yeah, and then just practice sight reading each word individually, doing that. Yeah, I think that would be
What
good.
I did is, I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah,
I
let me-
can't see it very good. Oh,
I just wrote like this, and then on the back. And
oh,
that helped me a little bit when I wrote it,
uh-huh.
write it, whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just,
That helped a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a totally new language with different characters and stuff. It's pretty challenging. But eventually, with practice and repetition, it starts coming that you'll be able to sight read. And so
Right.
if sight reading is a challenge for you right now, I'm talking to anyone in watching these classes afterward, that one of the best things that you can do is just have vocab flashcards, write the word, and make sure to review it often. This story is a little bit more complex because it does have some grammar principles that we haven't really learned yet. So it's not like we're memorizing this perfectly. We're just kind of sight reading for now and getting to know what these words mean. And so,
If it has the vowels, then I can sound it out.
mhm.
But that doesn't mean that I know what it means, you know?
Yep. Yeah. And so eventually we start kind of taking a look at it. And after enough times, we've got this memorized that this says Ima.
Yeah.
Ima is mother,
Mother.
mom. And so we start taking a look and going, okay, so Ima has a pet. And what is this word? I haven't memorized this word yet, but we know from this screen to this screen that there's a new cat in there. And so this is Jehatul is cat or feline. V'jehatul shel ima sheli. And so we
The
can
cat
start
from my
kind of
mother.
piecing those together. But yeah, it's just like a children's book, right? When we're little kids. Our the roles are reversed now. I'm reading you bedtime stories, but you used to read me bedtime stories and I didn't know all of the words or anything, but eventually you start picking up this and that along the way. And so this is going to be our bedtime story. Make sure to
oh,
do it often.
that's really long for cat. So what you're saying is that's feline.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of the same thing in Hebrew. Feline or cat.
Uh-huh.
Just think of the long tail. It's a long word.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm gonna have to give that some serious work.
Serious thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, sight reading is a pretty difficult type of thing, especially with Aleph with Beth. We're just kind of listening. We're not really repeating as much, and so these words are kind of tricky. But it's not like a full expectation yet. But eventually, we'll be able to have this so that we can sight read it pretty easily. I would say by mid to late January would be a great goal to be able to sight read these 5 pages.
Yeah,
is somebody gonna read this? Or is it my turn to give it a shot?
Yeah, go for it.
The first two words are the same. Hine, ani, here I am. And hadag, Shirley, Ima, Shelley, and Hagatu, Shell, Ama, Shelley, Ba, Ba, Shelley, so my father. And now I can see what, because the closed caption is on it,
Um,
and it needs to go up higher.
yeah, let me figure out how to
Okay.
get that. It keeps
Oh, and it's supposed to say anachnu, and then the number 5, but it's hard to see. It's Hami. Yeah, it comes on top of it. I can't see it.
Hamisha.
Hamisha. Okay, yeah.
Yep. Nahnu Hamisha. Yeah, I need to get a better one so that those captions on your end don't cover that last little part there. Need to bump those letters up.
Yeah, I just have to look on my tablet, but then it's really small, you know. I got just a small tablet.
Yep. So yeah, does anyone remember what the name of the book is? So we've got Sefer Hamisparim Shel Naftali.
Book of Words of Naphtali. Numbers.
Yeah, numbers. Hamisparim is the misparim, numbers. Sefer Hamisparim, so the book of numbers of Naphtali.
Yeah.
And so each one is teaching us a number. He's just one person here. And then all of a sudden my computer's stalling out. Then it goes to 2 as soon as he adds his fish. Anachnu, we are 2. And then he adds his mother for 3, his mother's cat for 4, and his father for 5. Yeah. Let's see. I've only got 8 more minutes. Any questions thus far? There's probably a ton, but yes.
Yeah, actually I did, but I have to find it. A minute. Because there are some words that I do not know what it means. And it's hard for me to put a point to it if I don't know what the word means. Because, because of my English. Where did I see it? Of course, now I can't find it. I thought it was written in cat letters, but it's I can't find it.
It's all good. Yeah, you can bring it next time and we can take a look at
it. Here it is. It's Apicina nouns. Okay.
Oh, epicene nouns?
Yeah. What does that mean?
Yeah, let's look it up. So, an epicene noun is capable of referring to any individual regardless of gender. So, an epicene noun in English, I don't know what that is in Spanish either. But so like gamal, right? Gamal can be masculine or feminine. It can be either one, epicene.
Oh, so so it might have double,
Uh-huh.
is what
Yep.
you say.
So when we ask Zahar or Nikeva, it will be both, because it can be either or.
Hmm.
So kind of like with German, for example, where there's a third neuter gender, it's kind
Yeah.
of in that gray area there.
Okay. Yeah, I just wrote double in feminine and masculine.
But yeah, epicene isn't a word that I know. But yeah, I knew right where you were talking from because that was a new word for me in English, but just Googling it, saying that it can be either gender.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of the things. At least. You know, if you don't know what the words mean, it's hard to associate with it, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
what it does or something. Yeah. English is a hard language, you know.
It is so hard. English is the worst. I'm very grateful that it's my first language because if I was trying to learn it later, I don't know if I would be able to learn it that well. It is very tricky.
Yes, yes. And you know, the pronunciations too, that there's words that have different meanings and you go, I thought it meant this, you know, like when when I just got here, the word shade, I had learned that word. And I knew if you walk on one side of the street, you walk in the sun, and you walk on the other side of the street, and you might walk in the shade. But then at my work, they were talking about a lampshade, and I did not understand why are they talking about the shade on the wall that the lamp makes. You know, it didn't make any sense.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So,
It's
so
very
yeah,
good.
and then she pointed out that the hood of the lamp made the shade. Oh god.
Yep. Yep. English is
Oh,
crazy.
so yeah.
The thing is,
So I
we
have
never
some
follow.
words that I run into that I go, uh, now I'm lost.
Yep. Yeah, English never follows its own pronunciation because we're always borrowing some grammar rules from other people. And so, anyway, it's so tricky. Learning Spanish was a lot, I mean, not easy, but um, it was easier because it's always pronounced exactly how it's spelled. Like you pronounce all of the letters just how they are. And Hebrew's pretty similar. So I mean, it's easier to sight read than it is with English because we don't just willy-nilly change what a word sounds like. A cough is always going to be a or a k.
Yeah.
I mean, if it does change its sound, it actually looks different. It drops its the gesh, right?
Yeah, yeah. See,
Yeah,
that I
English
can
is so
follow.
hard.
It really is. Because I teach affairs parents in English class on Thursdays, and man, they bring up new ones all the time, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think that that would be a hard word, but I mean, it really is because
Yeah,
we
I
change our
still
words.
have trouble with, when do you say he lays in bed and when does he lie in bed? Now, to me, if he lies in bed, then he's not telling the truth. And so I go, what are they talking about? Yeah. So I just put lay or lace or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
The same as he said or says, you know, it doesn't make any difference to me.
Yep.
It's the past tense of what he have been saying, you know. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly. It's crazy. I think, I don't know. I find linguistics very fun, but it's very hard because all of the different languages have so many different fun things that they've done over the years. except for English. English is just crazy. Like we have so many wild things because, you know, America is kind of this melting pot. And so modern English compared to like old English, modern English is just, it's a free for all. There's no good grammar rules. It's just all over the place. It's very hard.
Well, it's the same when you think that you have learned some King's English, then don't think that you can follow the Americans because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Not make sense at all. And then they change words. Like children were singing a song when it's always fun when Grandpa comes,
Mhm.
and then it's when Grandpa comes, and I thought they said he's gay, and I thought he's gay. No.
What kind of song are we singing?
And I go, ah,
Yep.
and I thought they are singing that in church, you know. So
Mhm.
it's confusing.
Yeah, it's very good.
The Polynesian people, and if you read Polynesian, then it's just as it says right there. The R is an R and the O is an O. You know, there's nothing two O's that's oo or anything. You know,
Mhm.
yeah. But
Yep.
someday I hope I get it.
Yep. That's
Don't
why
worry, I have the same problem. When like you have to be very careful with what you pronounce and the way you pronounce it because you can mean total different things. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah, can get you into hot water real quick if you say the wrong thing.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, any other final quick things before we head out? So I'm
Good.
trying to get my brain wrapped around it. So next week we are, yes. So next week, December 5th, we will have class.
Yeah, that's St. Nicholas Day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got my. You want to see my shoe?
Yeah.
Just let me get that shoe. You see it?
Uh-huh. Yeah. And so what do you do with that? We don't have any kind of tradition like that.
Well,
Money goes in it,
Okay.
and candy.
Oh,
And then
like our
actually
stocking.
you put your shoe out every night, and then you put an apple or an hay and a carrot in it for the horse.
Oh, uh-huh.
And then Black Peter comes through the chimney, and he takes that out for the horse because Saint Nicholas is on the horse on the roof,
Mm-hmm.
and and then you get some candy in it.
Oh, fun.
And on the 5th, you get a present, you know, a bigger present, but whatever, you know, toys. And we didn't get any stuff for Christmas because Christmas was all about the Christ child.
Mhm.
And so you get all the hype for Saint Nicholas, and then after the day after Saint Nicholas, because on the 6th of December he goes to Germany, and then everything in the stores changed to Christmas,
Oh,
and
uh-huh.
then the
That's
songs
so cool.
playing in the stores, and so you have not the hype of the presents, but you have the calm and the peace of the Christ child being born.
Mm.
Oh,
And no matter what religion you are, you can go to the midnight mass of the Catholic Church. And so we would walk in the snow to church with a whole bunch of teenagers and go and sit in the church and sing and listen to the story of the Christ child being born. And then you walk back home singing in the street and nobody cares, that you make noise.
Yeah. Huh, that's so interesting. I love that.
Yeah,
Love learning
yeah,
the
that it's we get the peace of Christmas instead of the kids, all being excited for their presents, because that's already gone. So over here you have the hype and then you're falling in a hole, and we have the hype and then you get the peace part. You kind of smooth out to the New Year's.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I love
Yeah. We should do more of that kind of stuff.
yeah. Yeah, we've really taken Christmas and ruined it in lots of ways. Because we just don't focus on Christ
Yeah,
as
I
much.
got a little center. Let me show you the center.
Yeah, those cute little wooden shoes. To do that with mine.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
Hey.
that's cute.
And he is like a saint.
Uh-huh.
And he is hundreds of years old, and this is his staff because he's old. And then Peter has a book, like the book of life, and in there it says if you have been naughty or nice, and they get all these things out in front of you and in front of your classmates and all that stuff, and they tell about the story that you have done. And if you are really naughty, Pete has a big bag on his shoulder. And when he takes the presents out, if you have been naughty, you go in the bag and he walks out with you.
Well, it's not just a lump of coal, he actually kidnaps you, huh?
Yeah, and kids scream and cry, and they say they will never do this again and they will be good from now on. They threaten and way ahead of it. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's funny.
Yeah, and we don't get coal, we get salt. A bag of salt.
Uh-huh.
So,
Oh.
and that doesn't taste good. So
No.
now that's a different tradition.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. Yeah, that's really fun. All right, well, I do need to get back to work, but we will see you all next week.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And aloha and tura.
Igualmente.
Igualmente. Good.
Bye.
Bye.